Essex, our coastline is a power corridor.
It certainly is. In recognition of this, leaders from councils and businesses from across the east of England met at a conference today to declare this region the best option for investors in the energy market.
As well as highlighting the areas experiencing offshore wind power, nuclear and gas were also on the agenda. And as I've been finding out, these low-carbon sources of energy will continue to play an important role in the years ahead. Off the shingle beach at Sizewell, the gleaming white dome of the nuclear power station can be seen for miles. And although it's had its fair share of protests, many people living here have come to accept it.
They've lived with it for a long time, and they've lived in harmony with the power stations. People still who live in Leiston still work at Sizewell A, and one or two of them work at Sizewell B.
The technology inside this building is capable of generating power for 1.5 million homes.
BL Pump Alpha is now shut down.
Yeah, agreed. BL Pump Alpha is shut down. Thank you.
Sizewell in Suffolk has been home to nuclear power since the 1960s, and it looks like it's here to stay.
The government has certain commitments in the country to reduce emissions. Nuclear power is the only proven large-scale carbon-free generator of electricity, so nuclear plays an important part in the mix going forward.
If it isn't granted an extension, Sizewell B will close in 2035. But last year, the previous government said that this was a potential site for a new nuclear power plant. This land is where Sizewell C would be built. It could operate for up to 60 years, providing long-term employment in Suffolk. Bradwell in Essex has also been chosen as a suitable site. With plans for new nuclear power stations, though, come more concerns about waste disposal.
Waste from a nuclear power station remains dangerous for at least 10,000 years. That means that somebody has to look after and manage that for that period of time.
Sizewell B will have been out of action for 6 months this year due to a problem in the pressuriser, highlighting the importance of having a range of sources producing our electricity. Currently, more than 50% comes from gas, and the Bacton gas terminal in Norfolk is providing a third of all gas supplies to the UK. But we are relying more on other countries to cope with demand.
We could build new gas stations fairly quickly, but then we're running out of gas. And so we will be at the whims of Russia and other countries for our security of electricity supply.
Planning permission has been granted for an offshore reservoir 50 miles northeast of Bacton to store gas, and that will help to remove the volatility of supplies. But according to Dr. Tovey, that would only keep us going for about a month. Although we're still some years off, underground coal gasification could provide us with another future source of power. 2 wells are drilled into the coal seam, air is injected through one, heating the coal, and the resulting gas that can be used to generate electricity comes to the surface. Coupled with carbon capture technology, this could take place off the Norfolk coast at Cromer.
There's potential to actually capture carbon and to store it back in the exhausted wells. It's an emerging technology and one which is very much cutting edge in terms of research, but it's something which we are well placed with the skills and with our physical location to take advantage of.
OK, you've all got questions and answer sheets there.
Students on the Energy Skills Foundation programme at Lowestoft College can see the potential for careers in the growing industry.
I hope to get an apprenticeship in offshore oil and gas, if possible, if not renewable energy.
All the different projects happening offshore, the Norfolk Bank project for the wind turbines and renewable sector around here is really good, so a lot of us thought the job opportunities are there, so we thought we'd take it.
Britain hasn't known widespread power cuts since the 3-day week of the 70s. Since then, we've lived with power at the flick of a switch. To keep that power flowing, big decisions are having to be taken now to heat and light our homes in the future.
Well, there have been fascinating reports. Having done them, was there anything there that struck you that it really sort of picked up on what we need to do and surprised you about the whole energy debate?
Well, before I even looked at it, I, like most people, I guess, didn't even think about where the electricity comes from. I know it sounds bad, but you just take it for granted, don't you?
And in terms of that, you know, having seen that as well now, do you think we need to take action now? Or is it without being too dramatic? Or?
Well, I mean, yesterday I showed you, that the gas is where our main source is at the moment, and we are running out of gas. And talking to the energy experts, they do say that we do have to look at new sources, hence renewable, but as we saw again, only 2% is coming from renewable at the moment. So there is a lot of work to do.
Bit of action.
Yes. Now, it sounds like something from a Scooby-Doo mystery, the discovery... Great impression. The discovery of a secret chamber only uncovered when a woman put her foot through the floor of a medieval church.
His name wasn't Thelma either. But this is for real. It happened in Suffolk. The lady in question is actually Kathy Mills, who was actually taking part in a rehearsal for a musical when she dislodged a marble flagstone and her foot disappeared into the void below. Natalie Gray has the story.
There had always been rumours that a labyrinth of tunnels lay under this 14th century church at Redgrave near Diss. Well, now Kathy Mills knows that it's true.
So that's where your foot went in?
Yes, but it will be really exciting when we can get down there and actually walk through the passages, won't it?
Yes. She was busy rehearsing for the musical Quasimodo when her foot dislodged one of the marble flagstones and down she went.
We hold hands, a crowd scene here, and we were just walking about like this in a circle when suddenly my foot went down and it was sheer agony, but no way did I think for a moment I'd discovered this.
We lowered a camera to discover a tunnel with a set of steps descending in one direction and a collection of coffins in the other, perhaps as many as 8.
So who's in the vault? Well, one of them is almost certainly this chap, Sir John Holt, who in the early 1700s was Lord Chief Justice of the whole of England, advising William III and Queen Anne.
Just weeks before Kathy's accident, a geophysicist had used special radar equipment to map out where the vaults and tunnels were, but no one expected to see what they contained.
What we found was 2 vaults here, 2 voids under the ground, one under the vestry and one close by where we're standing now. What Kathy did was, she provided the missing link for us, and, she's now enabled us 100% to get in.
St Mary's is owned by the church's Conservation Trust because of its spectacular marble monuments to the village's aristocracy. Archaeologists will record what's inside the vault in the autumn.
Should we, though, go down and disturb what is, the last resting place of the Holt and Wilson family?
We don't think that they would have worried too much about us looking down there at this length of time after they've been down there. But of course we're always very careful not to disturb their remains.
In the meantime, the church is open from 10 until 4 all weekend for visitors. Oh, and by the way, they know there are at least 2 more secret chambers here too. Natalie Gray, Anglia News, Redgrave, near Diss.
It's fascinating. I love finding out about tunnels and things.
It's brilliant, isn't it? But I just couldn't look at that report without just thinking that maybe Scrappy was there, Scooby-Doo as well, Shaggy, they're all in it. I don't know what it is, sorry about that. Well, now, just before the weather, time to show you, this is an amazing picture we've got that was sent in to us. Take a look at this.
Yes, this was taken by James from Glowfield in Norfolk.
Oh, I know. It's a bit gruesome, doesn't it?
As you can see, it's a frog in the clutches of a grass snake.
Now, before that, I must say, straight away, don't worry, the snake, especially if you're having your dinner, the snake had to go for its dinner elsewhere because the frog did manage to escape with everything intact, although, as you can see for that, he probably had to hop, he could hop a bit further now on his left leg than his right, I imagine.
Well, thanks to James for that. We do love getting your pictures.
We do indeed.
If you have any you'd like to share with us, send them to the usual email address. That's jonathanandbecky@itv.com.
Talk about putting your foot in it. Right, plenty more news coming up in the News Hour. Here's Alistair Stewart with the national team and what they have for you shortly.
Where has the sunshine gone?
I know, and I'm not sure it's going to be coming back for a few days either.
That's disappointing.
Still warm, though.
Let's find out. Here's Rachel Mackley with your forecast.
Anglian Home Improvements, sponsors of Anglia Weather.
And that's it from us. Just to say, of course, if you want to see any of those stories again, just head to the website at itv.com/Anglia.
Thank you for joining us. You'll be back at 10:30. Tomorrow's here. Goodbye.
Bye-bye.